Hello, folks. I hope you can see me and hear me clearly. I hope everything is shape. That you can. I'm going to get wait for some signal to know that you can see and hear me clearly. It's going to be a good fun session for about 45 minutes. So first of all, please sign off and convey that you can sign in on YouTube and give me a chat signal saying, "Hey, things are working fine." That you can see and hear clearly. So a very nice kind of there. Somebody is already pinged and saying, is it running late? It's not running late. We're just getting some tech sorted out. So it would have taken some 1 minute, 2 minutes. So we're on. So I'd like to get some communication from you guys saying, hey, this is working fine. You can both see me and hear me clearly. Somebody just chat, say, hey, can see, can hear. Been a while since we did these live sessions from home. So we're kind of not, kind of a little bit, we struggled with the tech. I was out of touch with setting this thing up and take help from Bharat to set this up. Good evening to all of you. Very good evening. Friday evening. So I hope we can have some fun. I'm just going to wait for 3-4 minutes to know just audio and video. Vaishnavi Iyer said audio and video both good. Lovely. Thank you. I'm going to jump in. I have like a prepared bit for about 25 minutes, half an hour. Finish that. And then we'll do some general shooting the breeze and chatting after that. Lovely. Before all that, stay safe, stay well shielded, wear your masks, wear your shield, all of that. We had a almost everybody knows somebody who's gone through this. Several members of my extended family have been affected. Several members of the 2IM team have had close shaves. They've been affected. So we're batten down the hatches. We've more or less shut down our office. We're just waiting for things to not become worse. And so we're just hanging in there. Hopefully, things will be better sooner rather than later. But practically nothing left for us to do but wait and hope that our good Samaritans among us, the government machinery, international support, vaccines, all of that plays some role in keeping it happens. We were the recipients of wonderful work from some of the community volunteers of the corporation. They were just phenomenal. We couldn't have survived without them. They were brilliant all over the place. They were phenomenal in following up, keeping us in the loop, communicating, getting a bed, the whole shebang. So it was phenomenal. But there are good Samaritans out there who are putting their life and limb on the line and doing a lot of work, not just the doctor community, but the entire community. And so it's brilliant. When saying audio is not clear, I think I'll have to be louder and think with Bharat. Some issue with the audio. I'm seeing it being clear. I don't think there is a, see if we can shift something. Hello, hello, hello. Maybe audio will be clearer now and some function. Please use headphones whenever possible. I will be louder. I've made a shift in the audio setting as well. It should get better. Lovely. I'm going to go with my prepared trim. I think with headphones, the volume should be clear. I have also made a fudge. Should make the volume better. I will be louder and I'll speak slower, which is unusual for me. But we will crack this in some way. Lovely. I'm going to go over to my prepared segment of my speech. Please do ping if something goes wrong. Before we go, we have a wonderful Labor Day discount for flagship courses, online courses. It's a fabulous course. You have a wonderful avenue to kind of try that out. So please take the opportunity to try out the online course. Try sign up as a trial user. You can see the full ship. Not rocket science. We've been doing it for years. We've put together a fabulous mechanism of trying out. Please do take that time out. Do yourself a service. There are so many mechanisms of fake reviews and manipulated things like online that you should trust nothing but what you can verify on your own. So we're living in a world where everything is manipulated. So some of the lunar things that we see on the internet actually scares the bejesus out of it. So Bharat has been combating several of these in the last few months, and it's a story to know what all crazy things people do on the internet. And so having a few reviews manipulated and having a systems played around is nothing. So, so the takeaway from all of this, you evaluate any course, any setting for yourself. Go online, go check it out, sign up as a user, validate the course, be clear that it works for you, and then you say sign up. Don't buy anything on the internet if you can't validate it. Someone who's run the there is some audio lag somewhere. I don't know why that is happening. Several people are saying audio is very clear. Some are saying audio is lagging or there's some issue with audio. I'm just going to give a poke around. Some issue with the audio. Just going to give a poke around. Wait a second. I'm just trying to see if I can fix this audio issue in some format. See if there's something else which is not on been unmuted or anything like that. Desktop audio is muted. So the audio is coming in. It seems to be reasonably clear. I think I'm being reasonably loud as well. It's not an issue. Volume pickup is not an issue. The mic in this machine is really good. So I don't think that's an issue either. So I'm going to power on. I've done one round of sanity check. Hopefully it will fall in place. Audio seems to be working fine. Please check if you can use a better internet connection. Headphone might help. I think that's Bharat coming in with the sound advice as always. So, for some it is working, for some it is not working. So I'm really surprised. So I'm going to power through. Maybe poor internet or I think the gods will be kinder in some time. Lovely. I'm going to jump in. Those of you who are preparing for engineering, then preparing for an MBA. And if you're doing an MBA to run away from engineering or just running away and then trying to find another place, not the best strategy. But it's just more a fun joke than anything else. We thought we'll start off with something funny. So the idea here, don't choose an MBA option as a get out of jail thing. Don't run out of something and fall into an MBA. Have some clarity about why you want to do an MBA. It's going to help you a lot during the hard 8 months ahead where you have to prepare in the face of uncertain outcomes. Outcomes are going to be uncertain. There's no guarantees in this world. If you're seeing it more than anything else right now, there's no guarantees at all in capital. Nothing. So hang in there. Have some clarity as to why you want to do it. Some soul searching, some figuring out for yourself why you've gone on this route of saying MBA. It should not be a default negative choice. I don't want this job, therefore I'm doing an MBA. It should be I want that thing, I want that growth, I want to be able to see things differently, I want to understand organizations, I want to be an entrepreneur. Something there along those lines should be something possible. Keep it in mind. Be ambitious. Right? Definitely be ambitious. Very often we settle, we dial down, we shoot for less than what we can be. So it becomes a part of what we are about. That sometimes is dangerous. That we unwittingly we want to do this and then the other thing and then the other thing and then shoot for the stars. 3-4 months later we are settling for something mediocre. So be ambitious. And be ambitious with input metrics. Tell yourself that I will read for an hour every day. I will do 1,000 questions this month. I will solve 14 puzzles in the next 10 days. And I'll take on. Be ambitious with the input variables. Do not ask something less of yourself. It's a nightmare. The moment you go on that settling, shooting for something minimal and getting away with the bare minimum, it's just a slippery slope. And it can just fall all over the place. So be it your fitness or your concentration or your number of hours of study or your marks or books you will read or the article that you read. If you're telling yourself, I'm going to be serious about Bharat's reading this, you must read every single one of those. Right? So you don't, if you find yourself slipping when you say, look, I have signed up for this, I told myself I deserve better, therefore I will go fight. Right? So don't settle. I know that's a thing like that has been made into a corny advertising tag now, but the point is still well made. Be ambitious. Demand a lot out of yourself. Lovely. I'm going to go to the next slide. Start early. Start early. So, otherwise, your mind starts flitting for excuses. The moment it starts feeling that there isn't enough time, you're giving yourself a wriggle room. I've seen this happen several times. I've seen guys take cat, then decide that their cat ends up saying, this year I'm going to go for it. And then a sign kind of lethargy creeps in. And then it becomes complacent, saying, I had almost for a cat, I did 60%. That I did in 5 months. Now I know I have done those 5 months. So even if there are only 200 days, I think I can prepare. And then it falls further. There comes a point where your mind becomes resistant. It says, look, if I throw everything into it and then I don't get it, then I'll start questioning what I am about. Subconsciously, start dialing down effort and start looking for excuses. Starting for some reason where the main reason why you're not preparing for a cat is not you, but something else. And the preferred something else is a pura system bigged gaya. Everything is rigged. Entire game is rigged. Therefore, no point preparing. I won't get blackie calls because my 12th standard UG are not good. They are out to get me. पता नहीं कितने लोगों को कॉमर्स से बुला लेते हैं, etc. 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 All of these are variables that we know. All of these are variables that are clearly established and communicated. And by and large, the system is a meritocracy. Whether you get an admit or not, how much you prepare for, how much you throw in is completely in your hands. There is absolutely no grounds to say to dial down your effort because time goes by and you see that your ambitious targets are not. So be ambitious, start early, stick to it. Don't every time. All of our minds are wide like a fan. Like honestly, tell you, I know better. Absolutely no better. If anything, I could be far worse than quite a large number of people. Effectively, because the moment something doesn't fall in place for me, I find a mechanism to tell myself how I'm God skipped to mankind, and why that is not falling in place of me. For me, is this, that, and the other. And generally, some politicians and world leaders get thrown in my list of excuses. Because of these guys, I'm not going to be a breakthrough champion, leading India, leading the charge, etc. etc. And so, several of us have. It's an easy fall back. That moment, it's like a safety cushion blanket saying, look, so the world that is getting me. And so that is all of us do it, but stay away from it because that does nothing but take away your energy. Already covered this. Don't look for excuses. That very simply, almost if you look at any number of self-help books, spiritual guidance books, any language, any stripe, it all boils down to controlling what you can control. Control the controllables. Don't let your energy drain out the things that you can't control, like the serenity. It's have the courage to change what I can, the strength to handle what I can't, the wisdom to tell the difference. Beautiful statement. Look at this. Right? So that is the holy grail. That's what all of us are looking for. Right? So look for that and find that by all means. But anytime your mind goes towards saying, hey, whining or complaining or feeling bad about some one thing that you can't control, you tell yourself, well, I can't control this stuff. Why am I worried? Why am I whining? I won't control what I can control. So keep that in mind. Lovely. Still, people are complaining about the audio that I'm so worried that my audio feed seems to be phenomenal. At least it's only green lights, not red. And there's no other audio that's running in the background. I'm not seeing anything. Phone's not running. Sorry guys, I'm not able to figure it out. I'm going to power through. I'm going to control what I can control. Speaking how loudly I can. What is your broad outline for preparation for quant, LRD, and I've seen? For quant, the one thing I'll say is learn from past principles. So, none of this gimmicky things will pay off. At least they might pay off in 2 out of 34 questions, but they take away something from 10 out of the remaining 32. The context where these formulae apply are so narrow that figuring out whether the checklist of things are ticked away to plug in a shortcut. It's going to take so much time. One big reason that I don't like shortcuts is if I'm told a shortcut and I know it works in this context, I look at a question, then my brain tells me it usually doesn't. This shortcut will work. I look at that and say, okay, for this shortcut to work, this should be the condition, this should be the condition, this should be the condition. Yeah, all three conditions work. Therefore, I can plug this in, get the answer. I'm not the guy who can just say this shortcut, plug it in, get the answer. There could be a catch somewhere. I'll have to validate it. The time it takes me to validate the three conditions required for shortcut to work, I can solve the question in a shorter time. And if I plug in without validating the shortcut, it will work for 2 out of 5 questions, backfire for 3 out of 5 questions. I'm plus 6 minus 3. No saving in time. I'm dead. So shortcuts are powerful tools, but they are enormous double-edged swords. So when they work brilliantly. What people don't tell you is for every 3 times they work, there are going to be 2 or 3 times that they don't work. The really smart guys know this difference. They will make that distinction. If you're just memorizing shortcut, then you're going into battle with a bunch of weapons for which you don't know the cheat code. And if you really want shortcuts to work, if your fundas are strong, shortcuts will come to you. Keep that in mind. Trying to solve backwards from options is like a hard question will work magically. But if you keep on looking at always times when I wonder whether one bazooka trick helps you with one question, but it takes time away from you in 4 other questions. That's what just looking from option thing does. So every time you look at a question, there's going to be a part of your mind which is maybe I can try it from options. 2 out of 4 questions it will work. 2 out of 4 it won't work. The 2 for which it works, you're going to save 15 seconds. For the 2 it does not work. You're going to get caught spending 30 seconds, not going anywhere, and then going back to first principles. So you should pick methods that are consistent, no downside. So the solving from backwards, using shortcuts, all gimmicky, they're not required. I've taken CAT 10 times. I've by and large done well most of the occasions. I've never used a single shortcut. Sometimes I have a natural, my mind has settled on a method because I've done it 20 times and I naturally know it. So then that is my own shortcut. That works. Next one, VRC. VRC has only one strategy on which VRC is built on. It's the absolute funda. That is reading a lot. There are lots of things for which I answer saying it depends. I say, okay, should I start with verbal or LRDA? It depends, yeah. Tomorrow. Should I start with geometry or arithmetic? I'll say start with arithmetic. That's like a preferred strategy. But it actually depends. If you want to start with geometry, go for it. There are very few things where I'm confident of it. This is the way to go. And that is reading a lot. Reading a lot is the holy grail. It is the compelling differentiator. It is the most crucial factor. It is the only big differentiator. And it's a big game changer. Every other trick that you hear, look juicy, appropriate, relevant, if you have read reading a lot, the pace of reading really sets you up for a run. But if you have not built the base for reading, nothing can. Right? So please read a lot. Don't do all this motivational stuff and strategy stuff. And reading a lot, what does it mean? Several people time their reading. Say, can I do 300 words per minute, 120 words per minute, 150 words per minute? We do all those gimmicky things because they're not confident of the really good things that work. You want measurability at every corner. Everything is not measured. Not measured. Right? So, and the measurement gives you a sense of movement, sense of I am moving from place A to place B. It's not required. Read, understand, be methodical, read with variety. In exam, read the passage, then go to the question. The skimmed reading all used to work in the 90s, where it was factual, you had to find which year this was done, which city that was done. You look, find the data and put it in. Nobody is asking you those questions anyway. But none of these speed reading gimmicky things. LRDI, how do you prepare? One of my favorite memes out there. It's a beast. It's a complete beast. For some reason, they have said LRDI. They're going to keep that as the men and boys section. That's a differentiator. I'm going to keep it as someone who knows all their stuff, but still needs something magical, extra, phenomenal to crack it. So, how does one actually prepare for it? Do some basic drill, but the name of the game is variety. Name of the game for preparation is variety. So tons of questions of several different types. And when you go through the solutions, go through the solutions from someone who outlines the process for you in terms of the thought process. Very often I see solutions on the internet and elsewhere for LRDI, which basically, if you solve it, you'll get this grid. And then once you know that these three conditions are met, the grid becomes clearer. And then we can answer the question. Just bhagwas. I have gone through this, and intuitively I do constraint number 1, 2, 3. I go nowhere, and then I look at question of constraint number 4. That looks juicy because my mind has digested 1, 2, 3. 4 looks appealing now. Then I plug in 4. Immediately I feel like 2 can come in now. But however, if someone says the solution says constraint number 4 gives us this, then 2 gives us this, then 7 gives us this, without telling you how 1, 2, 3 did not give, then that solution is useless, because one, it will be unnerving, because it's not your process of going to the answer. And so prepare with a lot of variety, and prepare with someone who outlines the natural way of going towards a solution. The way any person without knowing the answer would have waded through this and then mucked around for a while and then landed at the sweet spot. Otherwise, the distilled solution is worthless. It's just like giving the answer key. It's unnerving. Feels like, okay, the guys were good. They probably thought of 4, then 2, then 11, then 6. Oh my God, they are geniuses. So you have to go through the natural process and then arrive. Keep that in mind. The name of the game, as far as preparation is variety, as far as performance is question selection. This again is easier said than done. You need to pick up the art of selecting the right puzzles. It's not easy at all. You need to have tons of practice in selecting the right puzzles. You need to be switched on about the possibility that you could still end up picking the wrong puzzles. You need to accept that some decisions will go wrong and limit your damage. Stuff happens. That will happen only when you take a lot of notes. Question selection, puzzle selection is learned iteratively by paying a price. And it's not that this ever becomes foolproof, but it becomes close to a point where you don't end up paying a big price for a wrong selection. So puzzle selection is very key for performance. Variety and solution understanding are very crucial for preparation. Again, several people prepare for CAT and one in between thing. They like the idea of being among people who are preparing. 4 कोरा पेज को सब्सक्राइब कर दिया, 2-3 Facebook groups, checked out some 1 or 2 mocks, hang out in one of those weird internet places where people preparing for CAT talk with each other, feel part of some weird community without really committing to one preparation plan, and then drift. Suddenly wake up in August and say, I'm going to throw everything into it. Feel that it's too late, blame the system, get out, rinse, repeat for the next cycle. So you should be preparing for CAT wholeheartedly, committing to it, be saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to put in 2-3 hours every day into this game. I can tell you whether you crack CAT or not, you'll come out phenomenally better off. You've done tons of reading. Just be knowledgeable about a lot of things. Just be a smart guy because you've read good quality writing. A bunch of puzzles just opens up your mind to counterintuitive thinking, to out-of-the-box thinking. Basic numeracy has never hurt anybody. So throw everything into it. At the end of the day, you've done a bunch of CAT problems, you should be tired. That tiredness, that fatigue is kind of good tiredness. You get a good night's rest if you're tired at the end of CAT preparation. Prepare intensely. Don't take motivational as a proxy for preparation. I find so many people needing a hit from motivation. It's like a dopamine hit. And it's like you feel that you go back to your standard place for a regular hit. So it's like, as any cigarette smoker will tell you, that whenever there is any spell of mild boredom or waiting or in between 2 tasks, they fill it. What do they fill it with? And so it's just a filler thing. For several, the filler hit is a YouTube or a Hotstar thing. It's still all right. For several, when they take that break, the filler break, they still wanted to tell themselves they're preparing for CAT. They go into this deeper motivational things, which are all useful. If you're really inspired by something, then you find it. You don't say, TikTok, yeah, totally motivated me. I'll come at first guys. What's the point? So you've done something has motivated you. You should say, okay, now I'm feeling inspired. I'm going to take a walk. You can't say, oh, you're really motivating. I'll bookmark it. Next time I feel bad, I'll come back. That's just silly. Then we're doing a series of motivational videos. So don't wait. Have discipline. Prepare intensely. So when I say prepare intensely over and over again, people sometimes get this message. So prepare intensely. Let's say tomorrow I have my job which is bothering me. I'll quit my job and then prepare intensely. Anyone who says I'll prepare intensely and therefore I need to quit my job, you're basically taking a shortcut. Something about the job that's annoying you, annoying them. You're taking an easy excuse. I'm saying I'm preparing for CAT. CAT preparation is a long, arduous, stressful journey. But at the end of it all, you have uncertain outcomes. Things might fall in place or they may not. There's no guarantees whatsoever. So if you're wealthy, well off, the odd salary or job, MBA, these things don't matter so much. Then quit and throw yourself at it. But if you're in a role where you need to build a career for yourself, definitely, definitely don't quit your job. What are the exceptions to this? Circumstances. If you can have another job, you've got another job, and you're quitting, that's brilliant. If you're in a toxic work environment, by all means quit. But if you're in a toxic work environment, by all means I would say quit, whether you're preparing for CAT or not. Not worth it. And the second thing I would add is, yeah, prepare, get a job, get another job, ensure that offer is in your hand, quit, join that job, prepare for CAT. Quitting a job and going to another place is completely independent of CAT preparation. Don't make CAT, or don't lie to yourself and say CAT is the reason for quitting your job. If you're in a toxic job, you should be quitting. If you quit your job, you should have another job in hand. If you have going from one job to another, in that 3 weeks, max out CAT preparation in between. Otherwise, preparing for CAT is one track. Job and another job is another track. Putting a dead stop to one track and going for another. Guys with 2.5 years experience, you take a break and say, look, I need to figure this out. I have another job in 3 months. I'm taking a 3-month break, all that works. Freshers saying, I won't take up a job, I'll prepare for CAT. Full hurry, risky. Cynicism is everywhere. Super cool. Super, super cool. Right? So, false optimism, cynicism. We go from one end of the pendulum to another. 3 months ago, we had completely conquered COVID. Though we are dead, we will never survive. 10 million will die. So neither extreme is good. But if you have to be one, then being mildly delusional and optimistic is lesser of the two evils by a distance. The cynic always has the best. The old saying: if you're a pessimist, you're either pleasantly surprised or you're proven right. You know, that itself is very cynical. Pessimism gives you a get out of jail clause. कुछ नहीं होगा, कुछ नहीं होगा. Nothing is going to. They're all so miserabilism, so nihilism, cynicism. Many of these isms are just another avenue for creating a series of excuses for yourself for not putting them. And so things have gotten better generation after generation after generation for several generations. So anyone who says things are bad now has had no idea how tough life was 25 years ago. This works across the world. Life 40 years ago to now is unimaginably better. No doubt about it. And it's going to get further better the next cycle, 10 years, 15 years. Enormously noble folk are doing phenomenal work as we speak right now, which is going to make every one of our lives better. It's going to happen. It's happened throughout the history of mankind. Cynicism is it's a one-way street. If you cross a certain barrier, then not a good fight to come back. It's a dangerous thing. You're all young. At my age, if I get bitchy and whiny, still excusable. Not at your age. And I'm trying my best to not get cynical. Don't worry, I will mind and have a good mood about with Bharat or Bhaskar one day. But the next day, I can't wait to go back and do some video, shoot something or do some new question. I'm an entrepreneur. Without crossing a very high threshold for optimism, we don't get to be an entrepreneur. Otherwise, the system will beat you up. The glass is always half full. This testing, meticulously tiring, stressful, uncertain times. So many people were going there trying to make somebody else's life better. Guys who are contributing with dollars, the guys who are contributing their energy, with their time. They're running around pillar to post trying to find beds for somebody else. They are helping people understand COVID protocols by writing big blog pieces. Somebody, huge numbers of people are volunteering and saying, okay, I'm not affected by this thing right now, but my number will come next. And then somebody will have to help me. Let me see if I'm able to do that to someone else today. These are very, very young people, very, very old people. There's no correlation to age. They can all find something to find that their classes half full, then go help others out and chase something for themselves. We can do as well. It's always lovely. I'm back. I'm going to take some questions very quickly. I thought I'll finish this in 30 minutes. We've spilled over. Another 15 minutes. Hi, hello. I can always do. Should I repeat? I'm just going to see for the last question. What are the prices of your test series? Pakshi Katyal that's available inside the system. You should be able to find that. Not yet released a test series. What percentile will help a card get a call? I'm not taking that. That you can find. It's not an important metric. White TM does not teach about other MBA exams. Shivam Gar, we handle every MBA exam. So the only exam that we have not aggressively handled thus far, MA and CET. Our course is sufficient for CAT and CHAT. Sure. NMAT, SNAP, and IIFT, most definitely. We did not have a general knowledge component. Then these guys looked at it and said, look, I'm not teaching general knowledge. General knowledge must not be so important. They removed general knowledge from their syllabus. Very happy. And so we cover every exam. Only exam that we have not covered so far is Maharashtra CET. We're just putting together a fabulous course for Maharashtra CET. This year we'll have a fantastic kick-ass course for Maharashtra CET as well. There's nothing, no MBA entrance exam in India that we don't have. How many hours should we spend every day to study? This is Harshini's Vale. We should look to get 10 to 15 hours per week. I'm not putting it on a per day basis because some get it all on the weekends, some get it through the weekdays. But that's a benchmark you're looking for. Now, it will go up in August, it will go up further end of September. Is it possible to CAT 2021? I hope so. I'm preparing. So many of my students are preparing. Most definitely possible. If I start preparation from today, most definitely. Soumya Jain, most definitely. CAT will be 2 years or 2 hours or 3 hours this year. If I had to take a guess, I would say 3, but I have no basis for this. I completed graduation at Shivam Gar in 2018, given CAT 2020, and got 52%. I have no work experience. What should I do now? You're not going to like what I'm going to say. Shivam Gar should find a job. Have a job, prepare for CAT. Graduated in 2018, you have not had any work experience, then you're taking a risk with every passing year. Find a job. It's good for your work in a good environment. Will give you energy. Prepare for CAT. Give yourself another shot. How working professionals manage CAT preparation in weekdays? Wake up early, sleep late. One or the other, frequently both. You have to carve out that time. I tell you how I used to prepare when I was in college. College used to start at 8 a.m. I always start the day with some preparation, some test. And every time I had a free hour in college, I would read. I knew my gap area was reading comprehension. I read tons of books. Twice a week I would take books. That's it. I did like half an hour, 45 minutes of something in the morning, 1 or 2 hours of reading, and mock in the weekend. But I kept at it. So you need to figure out the tricks that work for you. Most important thing is the discipline rather than a fabulous schedule. 2am should also bring a dedicated mock test series. Yes, we are in the process. We will have it. We're just not releasing it. It's too early to release a CAT series. What kind of engineer were you in your days at IIT? Nerdy into girls. What kind were you? I wasn't nerdy. I didn't have the toolkit to be nerdy, so I was not the school geeky guy. I was not. I didn't understand. I didn't get engineering at all. I was yanked around in engineering. I did not do that. So I studied in IIT Madras. IIT Madras in late 90s. People wouldn't know what into girls meant. There weren't any girls. There are now. Just all these profile questions, this percentile, that percentage, I'm skipping all of that completely. For two reasons. One, I'm not going to be able to give you a concrete answer. Two, that answer does not change your preparation strategy. So you can find that answer, being it 100% reply. For most reasonable things, everything is possible. For ABC, the percentile required is 99.7. If you have a skeleton in your cupboard, it's going to be 99.8. Much higher can it go? I'm not touching that. By reading Mekonda Umesh, I think you've not completed the question. Novels and articles for VRC both. Statement 13, both, always both. Vaishnav here, do they consider students' work ex background? You don't need to have managerial experience, you don't need to have sales experience, you don't need to have any specific experience. Experience counts. How many months of experience you have counts. They talk about where you worked, how you worked in the interview. But for qualifying, it's just number of months. Nothing else matters. Fiction or non-fiction, Sachin, me, that doesn't matter. Read. Good quality matters, genre matters less. Quite difficult to manage time for preparation with job. I understand sometimes jobs are stressful. Squeeze time in between job for reading. Use your office time for reading. Get half an hour in the morning for LRDA, 1 hour in the evening for what? Keep at it. It'll fall in It'll become better and simple. Neil Kant Saxena taking 30 minutes to solve a certain DLR previous year mocks. It's actually a decent speed. If you do nothing else, you keep at it, it'll go to 15 20 minutes by the time it's over. You get better at question selection. You're definitely attempting 3 sets, maybe another half. That will take you to 99.4%. Phenomenal. How important is this, Sahil Kandari? How important is the relevant work experience? Relevant work experience is not at all crucial. It's irrelevant. When you go take your cat for getting the call, they keep in mind class 10, class 12, undergraduation, work experience, and catch 2. It just goes into a black box. You might have been head of in the prime minister's office, or you might have been an office boy at Rajpay. If this formal employment with salary after your graduation, and you have a record of it, what it is does not matter. In your interview, they'll ask you, "Oh, so you were an office boy. What changes did you bring?" If you're able to answer that well, is it worth taking NY Times subscription? No, NY Times is not that expensive. Reasonable writing. Not that big a fan because they have their biases and their writing is not great, but it's not too expensive. PGDB, I'm CalMat syllabus includes calculus too. 11th, 12th, RD Sharma. Suggest the best book for DLR. DLR, I would recommend. See, the books won't give you the experience of going to a solution, mucking around and struggling and then getting caught somewhere and then refiguring out. That's the deal. And for that, you can't get going by going through books. Pick up courses online, you're far better. Check out the previous year papers and all the solutions. Almost all DLR sets of the last few years is there in CAT, all sorts. It's there in the 2IM website. Put previous year DLR solution, 2IM, you'll be able to find that. Go through a few. That's better preparation than anything you can get in a book. Should I pick variety in novels too? It helps. It helps. But take it from, you're probably going to read 10 novels. Tops. So get your variety from your articles and blog pieces. But novels, whatever takes your fancy, read that. CAT 2020 level above from previous year. God knows, Bateman, God knows. I haven't the faintest idea. I think it'll be there this year. I think it'll be 3 years. Whether it'll be difficult or easier than last year, easy going to happen. Nobody knows. Wonderful. I'm just going to pop over and see if there's something I've received from my chat window. Questions. Colleagues, is there anything at all here? Just check that. Wonderful. I haven't got any message from here. I think that is called much. Wonderful, wonderful. I think it's some fix for the volume thing. I will try that. There's anything there? There's nothing, which is fine. Super guys. I'm back here. There's nothing special from the comment window. Megonda Umesh sir reading Bharat list little cat from now. Is that enough for VRC? That's enough. That's a fabulous list. It's a brilliant starting point. It'd be better if you read something more also. But that's enough. Is CA necessary for getting good position in finance after MBA for a BCom student? Not at all. Not at all. You do well, you do a bunch of courses, you learn well, you have a good CGPA, you can go places. I've seen most CEO, CFO, or CA, they are the ones who do well inside also. It's correlation, not causality. Good students complete CA, good students who complete CA, the better ones among them who do MBA. How do you think they'll perform in the MBA? That's why they go places. Maharashtra CAT book, I'm going to hit a pause on that. Then one of the guys will get you, should be able to answer. Last year too, I have read a lot of articles and solved a ton of RCs, given marks, but 60th percentile RC. She not saying that happens. That happens to everyone. So sometimes it happens. Maybe your worst performance came in the actual CAT. The one thing I can tell you, a lot of times what the mistake students do is they never focus particularly specifically on accuracy. So if you're being slightly laid back on accuracy, your scores can be very volatile. Don't be laid back on accuracy. You should amp up accuracy to close to 85% even in the ARC. That will reduce the volatility. Get better and better at picking the right choices. Nilkant Saxena, Smithsonian articles are very good. Go for it. And week in math, how should I prepare for quant and LRDA? From fundamental, go to the 2IM course, see the sample class on percentages in geometry. See that works for you. Okay. When I will be revising geometry or number system, should I solve the fabulous question once again from our phenomenal test to more junior Olympiad level geometry question? Both, Shake. Never one or the other. Both work. Several of our questions have been stolen from variants of junior Olympiad level questions. If there's some good quality questions somewhere, we'll definitely have an eye on that. Both. Why one or the other? How to get over quant phobia? Doing it well. Not kidding. There's one thing that we are insanely proud of. It's that our maniacal belief that this is an easy exam and can be prepared from absolute fundamentals. If you go through the freely available content on my portal, here you will get the belief that you don't need to have one. There's a few small steps. How many hours should we spend every day to study? 10 to 15 hours per week. You see, should we buy subscription? Not necessary. Freely available things, there are plenty of them. Completed my CMA intermediate, will be completing my CMA final. Will it get you some brownie points? Definitely. In the interview, it will. For qualifying for the interview, it will. There is no category to account. CAT 21 or 22, if you're eligible to take CAT 21, CAT 21. I'm not even reading the rest. If you have a shot, if you can write, if you're eligible to write CAT 21. Writing CAT 21, prepare for CAT 21. There's no guarantee that will fall in place. So this whole idea of I will prepare for 22, I will take this as a try and course. If you have an 18-20 month preparation schedule, you're asking to be beaten up by the fatigue curve. It's a pain. Recovering from COVID and preparation schedule got pushed by a man. How do I reach that prep? No. If you're recovering from COVID, getting physically better off takes an absolute top priority. COVID, outside your hand, get fit first, then CAT can wait. It's still lots of time to prepare. Get fit, get well, forget about CAT preparation till you are comfortably well, then you can restart. Arvind Prakash had given CAT 3 times, rejected IMTG, left job, have work except 18 months, cannot really find job, have been actively into NFO trading, start again from scratch. Try something different. When you have taken CAT thrice, you know the drill. You come done as well as IMTG, you know the drill very well. So take mocks very aggressively from very early on. Take your weakest section and jack it around till you can make it a strength. Leave no room for error. In the sense that suppose you said I'm very good at quant, but I don't care about geometry much. Chase geometry, make that into a strength. So work on filling gaps aggressively. Don't leave anything to chance. Take mocks from very early. How does 2IM come up with the best memes? We have a good meme team. One of the champions, one of the guys who came up with really good memes, the guy called Sachit Bala. There he is. I think he's planted that question. So we'll say Sachit came up with very good memes. Well done. How much RC passages should I solve daily apart from 1 to 1.5 hours a day? You don't need to solve RC passages daily. Read 1 to 1.5 hours daily. Once a week, twice a week, do a few RC passages. RC patches, sometimes I think you're better off doing 2, 3 at a stretch. But then that way you can combat fatigue as well. Reading newspapers necessary for XLRI and IFT from a GK perspective, last 3 months. General reading perspective, definitely. Which is good in long term, MBA in PM or specialization in general business management. Specialization with tech management, media management, system management, all of those are just colleges trying to sell courses. General MBA, MBA in finance, operations, marketing, that's all right. MBA in media, MBA in tech, all that is all right. Passage selection matters for RC, should you attempt passages in given order. Passage selection matters, not as crucial as how it matters for LRBI. But if you don't get the hang of a passage in the first paragraph, you should. But I can appear only in June month of 2022. Interviews would get done by then, will it still benefit? It's a meaningful course, it will help you in your internship. It starts in September. So it does help. Especially if you're done after CAT and you have time, might as well get that. Something, it's a skill. Can CAT exam go more from November to December? Hi, I'm Rajesh, and I think you're mistaking me for God. Who knows, yeah? Can we clear CAT by just watching YouTube videos on YouTube? Yeah, several have done. Wonderful learning material on YouTube. The search cost is high. You have to search and find all the right things. But if you're disciplined about it after creating a set of good list for yourself, you should be able to crack it. And YouTube is a fabulous place. The search cost is high. Willing to spend that much time to search and find the right thing, yeah. Which subject aggregate marks to include in CAT form? CAT forms some time away. We'll wait for that. They'll give some clarity closer to that. Getting stuck with 2 options out of RC every time. There's a video that we have focusing on just this. See that in the 2IM video. Just put selecting the RAR 2 choices 2IM. You get that video. Usually the guys who set the question papers put a choice where they're deliberately making it juicy, but one that can get disqualified based on some criteria, exaggerating something. So look for that. Look for that exaggeration. Please rate the new IMs for marketing. I don't think there is a specialization based ranking. I think the 6 Ranchi and Trichy are better than that. 898, what my chances of IM ABC? Not taking that. It's very broad. Like where, what will happen? What do you think of the growth rate in 2022? Very broad. Prepare well. Get the highest percentile you can. Give yourself a great chance. Don't get caught. You're never going to get certainty on this profile, this thing for IMK on Sunday, sitting in April. If the exam is on November 29th, how will it happen? Doesn't matter. You prepare, you fall in place. What kind of student were you in IIT and IIM days? I think we've already answered this. Branded company work it to startup work it. Branded one better because I have more usher sitting in a table, and I know you work for Accenture. I know you work for Accenture 30 months on a good project. Suppose you work for Alpha AI Solutions based out of Shahjahanpur. Then you got a certificate from some company. But then I want that data. Maybe he's your cousin. I'm not going to have confidence in that certificate. Therefore, I have 18 months internship experience after graduation. It's full-time formal employment. I don't know how it works, but technically the distinction between internship and work experience is before your graduation it's internship. Afterwards, I think you can rewrite it. You can ask the guys to tell you, call it a work experience. Word per made easy, will it help? Yeah. How much time should I give? Not a crucial part, but it's a good book. So 25 minutes, half an hour per day. Nisar Sonar, I'm in second year engineering. Shall I start preparing now? You don't have to worry, it's too early. Just read, know the basics, but you don't have to start. Nikhil Mishra, someone has I've got low marks in 12, doesn't go to a big B school. Many variables go into this. 12 standard mark is also one variable. It's not a killer variable, not the most crucial variable, but it is a variable. Several people who got poor marks in 12 don't go to grade B schools, mainly because they don't get good marks in CAT. It's very brutal. But 12th class score alone being disqualifier for ABC is very unusual. You have to get 99.7 even if you have stellar CV. I had a fabulous candidate, fabulous guy who worked with us. He did very well in his XLR. He was a topper, and he's now working in some investment bank. He had a stellar CV. He was from an NIT, all good. He got 99.61. And he didn't get called by one or two of ABC. He didn't get a convert from any of them. And he interviews really well. He's going places. So he's a good guy. But 99.6162 gives you no guarantee. Everything going your way, you still need to go 99.7. So, no guarantees. So don't think that your other things are depriving. The critical thing getting ABC is 99.7. We have that, then we can talk about other things. Ashu Davale, many thanks for the lovely. Mustafa Rata, how much question should we solve in quants? CHP, checkpoint, everything, my friend, everything. Reading novels help in verbal, definitely, but probably the only thing that helps. How should I structure my daily routine? Just put CAT preparation schedule 2 a.m. How are you being positive all the time? Oh, my friend, you have a selection. Beautiful statistical thing. If you take all Sachin Tendulkar innings where you scored above 50, his average will be above 50. See all the sessions that I'm doing on YouTube, I'll appear as the most positive guy. I know I'm going to do YouTube. It's on show. So all of us put on different hats. I can't come here and be the guy with a lot of inertia and lethargy. Talk to you guys about CAT preparation. But this is probably not how I am all the time. Speak to the guys at my office. They'll probably give you a better picture. Speak to family. They'll give you a no holds barred clear picture. Tell us something about DA Prepare with variety. Focus on detailed solutions, intuitive solutions. Is doing CFA level 1 a good idea for BTech student along with graduation for profile building? More than it being a good idea, you can do CFA level 1 only after graduation. Tony to God. How is business analytics a lovely course to prepare? Is there any upper hand for engineering graduates in CAT exam? Not in CAT exam, not in NIMs, like everyone else. Some of the engineers from IITs, they do phenomenally well in CAT, they do phenomenally well in IIMs because they are phenomenally good, but because they're engineers. I'm a non-engineer, have no idea how we should prepare my DL. Should follow the same strategy that engineers do. There's a lot of questions from previous year papers. Learn from basics and get some practice. Then do all DLR puzzles with a lot of variety, different types of puzzles. Spend time on understanding solutions. After the pandemic, I'm moving to Accenture Chennai for work, and I'm wondering what kind of program should I take from. I definitely prefer the online version. I don't know when this pandemic will end. At any point of time we start classrooms, any online student will get a deal for classroom. You can just transition very easily. So don't wait for an in-person classroom thing. Start online. Ramakrishnan, yes, I'm preparing for CAT, but I'm not able to solve sectional test in the time given. That's all right. Completely fine. Don't worry about speed now. Don't speed will come. Keep practicing. Speed will come automatically. How difficult it is to score 100%, it depends on all the rest of them. They all bungle up and it's an easy route. Basically, very few, 8 or 10 get it every year. Can't be easy. Then you need to have your fundas in place. You need to have a good day, have some luck going your way. All these things have to happen. Is CAT preparation enough for X80? 95% yes. X80 has this delicious section called business decision making. You need to add that. Narayan Shankar, thank you for the session. Many thanks for hanging in and listening, Narayan. Lovely to see that coming. How to get knowledge of finances from reading engineering student. The nice books, good publications are there. I'm not able to come to the reading list right now, but we do have a video, which is Finance 101 on our YouTube channel. Just read, go through that, you'll get a sense of finance, and then you can pick up it. So again, I think Bharat or Subhash has mentioned this. We have a fabulous Labor Day discount going on. Just lovely course. I know I'm saying this, and obviously I've created the course. I'm going to say it's lovely. But one thing you can do, you can go there and try out every element of the course. So please do that. I'm sure that if you go and check out the course, you'll come off feeling, hey, these guys are honest, they do a good job. If you buy it or use it, that's secondary. But I can tell you, there will be time well spent just evaluating the course. Lovely, guys. I think we're pretty much done with this. 9 o'clock. So I'm going to sign off. So we want to just keep shooting the breeze with you with no sense of time. Lovely. I think we have covered most of the things. Any which way, the odd question that we have missed, post them as comments. Always around. Ping us on FB or Telegram or WhatsApp or forum. We'll be around. We're going to be there from now. We're going through a tricky time as an organization. So we've shut down our main offices because of COVID. Chennai has been affected very seriously. I think our caseload is high, and on top of it, there's some understating. The numbers are probably higher than way higher than what they are saying it is. They're already saying it's high. Hospitals are maxed out. People are struggling. Everyone knows someone who's currently having. Everybody knows someone personally who's been running around for. Please help in whatever way you can. Definitely stay at home. Definitely take all kinds of precautions. And it's a request to all of you. We guys at 2 a.m. we will be around. We will do live sessions on YouTube. We will do live sessions on our learning platform. We will be there all four. But I can tell you straight away that we've been less active on these places last week or so. We're going to continue to be less active for at least another 2 weeks. We don't have bandwidth to be available in all platforms all the time. There are more important things to do right now to be available for people, to be available for near India, people for our local community, be there. So we will respond to everything you throw at us. But if something took us a day, it's going to probably take us 2 days. Hang in there, bear with us. CAT is a long way away. Every chance that you've asked a doubt looks like a killer doubt. Nothing that can't wait for another day. And so, don't worry about it. You can have that little bit extra empathy and patience towards 2 a.m. Lovely guy. Nilkant Saxena 4,000 off on individual courses also. I presume you mean part courses. It's not on part courses, but ping us. We should be able to give you some discount on part. Lovely catching up with you folks. I'm going to sign off now. As ever, we will be back in a couple of weeks to shoot the piece on the session. farewell. Most definitely stay safe.